Guys and gals, just a quick reminder before you watch this video, do not forget to subscribe for more content such as this, and if you do so, please click the little bell symbol right next to the subscribe button. You'll get notifications on your phone, on your tablet, and on your laptop for when you can get more content from this beautiful face once more. Hello everyone, David here with a video I was not intending on making, but the more I thought about it, I was like, alright, I got this for myself for a Halloween party, and Halloween is still technically around the corner, so I figured that if you guys have an Amazon Prime account, you still have time to get one for yourself. That is, if they're still in stock, because I haven't checked actually in a while. So unless they're completely sold out and you're shit out of luck, then hey, at least you can watch my video to kind of bask in its glory. But about a week or so ago, I made a decision, a very affirmative decision with my girlfriend to go to a Halloween party, and we decided on matching costumes. She went as Silk, which is a Spider-Man comic book character. Actually, she happens to be one of Peter Parker's love interests amongst the many that player has. And then, of course, I couldn't help but be Peter Parker himself, Spider-Man. And so we resorted to good old-fashioned Amazon to see what we can get that was affordable, but at the same time didn't feel like a cheap-ass suit you could just go to Walmart and buy. We wanted something that's a little bit cost-effective while at the same time feeling like something that could be kind of legit and actually look cool. It might not be made out of the best, most accurate, movie accurate or comic accurate detail and fabric and all that, but at least as long as it looks the part and it doesn't feel cheap, I'm all for it. And I came across this bad boy right at the very top of the Amazon page when I typed in Spider-Man costume. This is what is called the Zentai unisex Lycra fabric one-piece bodysuit that is not only tailored, but of course custom made to resemble that of Spider-Man's, specifically the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man suit, because you'll notice that there's actually going to be certain details that are very keen to the Tobey Maguire Sam Raimi Spider-Man suit, with a couple little differences they included, whether it be for aesthetics or for the management of the suit in terms of being made and also fit on the body, or maybe even some copyright issues because they couldn't be 100% true to form with that Sam Raimi suit because maybe they didn't have the rights. But anyways, the company that I think makes it is called Zentai, and then the company that distributes it on Amazon, that sells it, and then Amazon fulfills the order, is called 7plus, and that's who I ordered it from. And so it arrived. I've already tested it out a number of times prior to the party. The party's already happened. But before Halloween, the actual day of Halloween comes, I want to kind of show this off to you guys here on camera. So before we get to what I think most of you are looking forward to, which is going to be arguably the most embarrassing part about this video. Well, not so embarrassing. I'm actually looking forward to wearing it, but it's the part that you're going to be trying to look for as much as you can to magnify, zoom, and enhance, if you get what I'm saying. So if you were to order it, it comes in a nice little packaging here. It's a zip tied, so that's pretty nifty. It's very eco-friendly while at the same time very manageable. It feels like something I would definitely want to keep the suit in. I really don't want to throw this away. So a really well-made bag with the zipper here to kind of enclose everything together, and then you reach inside and you just pull the bad boy out, and there's the costume. So right off the bat, if you guys have never felt lycra fabric material, it's kind of spandexy while at the same time not being as glistening or as flamboyant, so to speak, as spandex. It's the closest thing to Under Armour fabric that you're probably going to get. That's pretty much what Lycra really is, except this is in the form of a bodysuit. It's not going to be a Under Armour top piece like the shirt that you sometimes wear if you were to go to the gym, or some shorts if you do any kind of like track and field and stuff like that. It's similar to that, except it's going to be tailored in a way where it has to be going around the entire body while at the same time giving you the mobility of your usual body so that it doesn't feel like it's hindering you. Kind of like how sometimes I feel a certain way about some suits that are put on Hot Toys figures, like some Hot Toys figures. And it smells funny. I don't know. Ooh, I think this needs a wash. Yeah, I think I might need a wash here because I did wear this to the party, and we were eating some food. So I really hope I don't come across any mysterious stains here. I apologize for that, but yeah. That's pretty much the fabric that you're kind of dealing with here. So on the inside, just purely white right there, all stitched together. But then if I turn it around, obviously I'm not going to be able to showcase the entire thing, well, at the same time not wearing it. But here is the actual suit, and here's the front chest portion. And as I mentioned before, it is modeled after the Sam Raimi Tobey Maguire suit. So you'll notice that the pattern is very much resembling that. Okay, yeah, it really smells a very particular way that I really hope is not, mysterious food stains that I forgot to clean up. So hopefully that doesn't come to pass. But it is one entire piece held together by a zipper here that kind of comes across the back where the back spider logo is at. And like I said, I'll showcase that a little bit more once I put the goddamn thing on. But the patterning, it's got those little like cells inside of the fabric, whether it be the red portions here or the blue portions, where blue generally goes on a Spider-Man suit, as well as the silverish webbing. It's not black webbing, it's silverish, and it's painted on really, really well. Up close, it looks very much painted onto the fabric, so it's like, okay, it is what it is. But then from a distance, it's painted on a certain way where it kind of causes an illusion where if you back up and you were to look at me from a distance, this can actually pass off as a legitimate looking Sam Raimi Tobey Maguire suit, because the cell shading on, or the cells etched out here on the blue, as well as, like I said, that web pattern, that silverish and embossed looking pattern on the red here, actually looks like it's popping out from a distance. Up close, you can tell, okay, it's an illusion, but from a distance, it actually looks rather legit. What makes it even more legit is the fact that this is one entire piece. The only part that's not attached is the mask, which I'll showcase a little later. But it is all one piece, so you don't have to worry about separate gloves or separate boots. They're all attached together. So going through the arm here, you'll notice that there's the hand right there, and I'll comment just a little bit more on the hand, but there you go, attached to the body, and the pattern just continues on while at the same time staying true to the design of the Sam Raimi suit with the little webbings going around the fingers right here. And then same thing goes for the feet. You got the boots right here completely attached, all one piece, seamlessly stitched together, and then you got the pattern following suit just as well. So overall, it looks like it's a lot here, but the sizing I got for it is small, and it fits for the most part like a glove, which I'll showcase a little more later. Before I get to actually putting it on, for God's sakes, here I have the mask. Now, the mask, almost like any other Spider-Man mask, looks a bit flat when not being worn, and I'll comment a little bit more on how it actually feels while having your head inside it, and whether or not you can breathe and all those things. Before I do so, however, I do want to comment on a little bit of the design, or the way they kind of tailored this thing together. So it's stitched together with a zipper here on the back that is open enough to be able to fit almost any kind of head. I mean, I have a very egg-shaped head, so it's cool to see that this fits actually rather well when it comes to accessibility. Now, right off the bat, one little detail that you might have been able to pick up is that the eyes don't look exactly like the Tobey Maguire Sam Raimi Spider-Man suit. That suit from those 3 movies had more angular looking lenses. This is much more curved. In fact, if anything, they look very much more like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Andrew Garfield lenses. So it's got the patterning and the detail and the design of the Sam Raimi suit here in the red with, like I said, that silver-ish looking and embossed looking webbing on the mask, but then the eyes are designed completely different. So if you are a major detail nut and very obsessive compulsive about details like I am, then yeah, this from time to time will bother you. I know it did bother me, but I'm glad to see that at least the construction of the lenses is actually rather well. It's made out of plastic, but it's very durable. Very hard plastic that I think it's going to take a while to break. So it's not flimsy plastic. It's not the shit that you get at Walmart. This actually feels legit, as you can hear. And then, of course, it's made out of that material that you've probably seen a number of times before in other videos and other Spider-Man costumes where it's got the holes poked out. So from the outside here, it looks like it's completely covered in white, but from the inside, you'll be able to see just a little bit more because of how close these holes are to your eyes. So it's able to give you better draw distance when it comes to your vision, so that you can see from the inside, but they can't see you because of all this white right here. Now, with that said, another thing that I can comment on without having to wear the mask, because there's no way to demonstrate this, you're just gonna have to take my word for it, is that when you wear this, if you have 20/20 vision, then you're pretty much gonna be able to see the way I see plainly without my glasses, where you can see big things like, hey, I can see that there's lights here, I can see that there's a camera here, but little fine details are the things that you're definitely going to miss, especially from a distance. Case in point, if I was to put this mask on and stand right here in front of the camera, even with my glasses or magnification of any kind, the little the heads up display where I see how many minutes I got left on the battery and the card and all that stuff, it'll completely block out, only because of the way these holes are etched in. And again, it's, for lack of a better term, a form of optical illusion that they cause because of the depth of field and all that. But just be prepared to lose some of those details when you're kind of looking around, because if you are going to a party with a partner, keep that partner nearby when wearing the mask. Otherwise, I would say that wear it for accuracy, wear it for illusion and for role play, and then once you're ready to eat and actually socialize, take the goddamn thing off. Okay, that's as far as I can say about the suit, really without wearing it. It is now demonstration time. Oh. Okay. Note to self. Just because your parents are not home at 3 in the morning doesn't mean that you can do anything you want to, or you think you can do. Alright. So, hey guys. Here I am, in full Spidey getup. And you'll notice that my talking is a little strange, and that's because I am wearing a Lycra mask all over my face. And I guess this is really how the suit kind of looks here on camera. I'm actually rather surprised that my arm, my scissor boom stand for my mic was able to extend this far up. So hopefully I'm coming across fairly clearly into the mic. But this is the Zentai 7 Plus Lycra unisexual suit in action on my body. And it feels really hot and really sweaty, only because I have these lamps right around me to provide lighting, and that's actually where all the heat is coming from. It kind of attaches to your body. So, take a gander. This is the front. Hopefully I'm not kind of distancing my way a little too much from the mic, but, you know, mobility is actually rather nice. There it is. So here's the top portion right here. Here's the mask. Now, a good look from the back. Right around there. Now, this is the size small, and I think for reference, I should point out that I am about 5 feet, 5 inches, maybe 5 feet 6, on a good damn 5 feet 7 inches. Alright. As far as weight goes, I honest to God have not weighed myself in a really long time, but I want to say I'm around the realm of about 125. I'm a very light dude. I'm kind of lean and kind of skinny, but I'm not necessarily, because of my height, I'm not necessarily skin and bones, at least not anymore. Used to be back in high school. Now I've packed on a little bit of weight, and I have to say for myself that the small size fits me very much like a glove. Before I can continue, I gotta take this thing off, but at least there's the mask right there in full motion, and that's exactly how it looks on somebody with a head shape like mine. There you go. Again, from the back. Alright, now it's time to take this off so I can breathe, most importantly. But second most importantly, I can go ahead and really dive right in to this review of the Zentai 7 Plus, I keep forgetting the name, I'm so sorry, 7 Plus Spider-Man suit. So after putting it on, trying it on, and having the full get-up, I can honestly say that I was very, very surprised, and pleasantly surprised for this suit, because it looks genuinely awesome. Again, that illusion that I was mentioning while I was kind of covering the suit, not wearing it, that illusion of the print and the coloring and the texturing of the actual design, even if it's just on Lycra, it comes across really well, especially when you're at a distance. Right here, from this footage right here, and every time I look at the mirror that I have over here in my corner, it looks legit. Up close, yeah, you can tell that it's a bodysuit and it's stuck to the skin, and ever so often people have the idea that a bodysuit really accentuates so many parts of the body, but I'll kind of cover that a little bit in one quick second when it comes to like sizings and stitchings and all that. But the actual design and flair of the suit and how it kind of looks to the naked eye, and speaking of naked, it looks awesome. It actually genuinely looks awesome. It looks like the real deal, especially with that silver embellished, not embellished, but embossed looking pattern here of the webbing here on the red portions of the suit. That's probably the best part about the suit that looks the greatest when it comes to a distance. So from far away, this actually looks legit. And of course, you know, I'm not to. It comes with the territory, but if you have a body to kind of complement the size that you go for, because sometimes certain reviews online and other people online will say that it's best to get a size up than what you really are, what usually you wear for normal clothing. I took a gamble, went with the small, and I was thankfully very glad to see that other people were saying the exact same measurements as I was, 5 feet, 5 inches, 6 inches or so, 120, 130 pounds. They got the small, and it fit like a glove. Here I am, wearing it, and I can dare say it feels rather nice. Now, in terms of mobility, it feels really, really flexible. It does what Lycra is supposed to do, so I can move my arm completely, no hindrances whatsoever. Fingers move around very, very great. Legs can move only as far as I allow them to move, because every so often I feel like I need to work a little bit more on my legs, because I committed the sin. I've committed the sin of ever so often, maybe just a little tiny bit, skipping leg day. Okay, besides that though, mobility, flexibility, very, very nice. Of course, it being a Lycra suit, that's gonna happen anyway, so all they have to do is just really put a Spider-Man print on it, and you're all set. Now, in terms of sizing and stitching and how they kind of proportion the suit, that's where it gets a little interesting. I won't say it's fully bad, but it's kind of like, okay, there's some things to kind of unpack here and kind of analyze. For one, not only from the perspective of how it looks, but also from the perspective of me wearing the suit, how it feels, the upper body portion of the suit fits really snug and really, really tight, to where any kind of muscle that I just happen to have, whether it be in my chest or in my arms, is really, really coming across. And I love it, especially right there around the arm area. Because besides the patterns that it's got going on with the web and the little cells inside of the red and the blue, there's also, ever so often, most especially here on the side, you'll notice that there's a few shades of coloring where they actually indented a little bit of the muscle. And I think you can maybe see a little bit more in the back. That also has the other red Spidey suit right there, and it's designed rather well. But you can tell right there that they managed to put some detail in with the color job, and I'll show it off a little bit more in the legs. But in the top portion of this suit, it feels really, really snug and really, really tight. And that's where the sizing just could not be any more perfect, at least for the size that I got. When it comes to the legs, however, or more encompassing the lower part of the body, pretty much all of your legs from the waist down, it's actually a little bit more loose. It's not as tight as it is in the upper body. However, I can't say that that's a bad thing. It's not a good thing either. It's kind of like, well, there's an advantage and a disadvantage. The disadvantage is more for people like me who are very nitpicky about movie accuracy or costume accuracy, and that's, to me, the only part where I start to get a little nitpicky, because obviously if I notice that the top portion of my bodysuit here is super tight but also flexible, and it really shows off the cool, little dynamics of the Spider-Man suit, then I'm going to want the legs to do exactly the same. However, it's a little looser. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I get to move around, but the legs are wrinkling. Well, not necessarily wrinkling, but they're writhing a little bit more like regular clothing rather than actual Lycra material. So I'm like, oh, okay. Kind of wish the entire suit was like that, but, you take what you can get. Now, here comes the advantage of them making it so like that. Is actually a couple. One is that, for the majority of the males out there who are going to be wearing this, because this is a unisexual suit, so men and women can wear it. I've actually seen some pictures of women wearing it online, and I'm like, okay, it works. But for men, if you're not necessarily confident about what you got going on there, then the little loose stitchings that they managed to make, or the loose dimensions that they put around this bottom half of the suit that's not as tight as it is up here, could probably benefit you. Or if you're at the other side of the spectrum and you feel like you're going to impress the ladies and really scare the ladies, then the loose fitting is not something to worry about. That kind of piggybacks onto the second thing I was going to mention, is that you don't have to worry about wearing a cup, wearing extra padding, wearing some specialty thing underneath. My girlfriend kept saying, you're going to have to wear a cup, you're going to have to wear a cup, you're going to have to wear a cup. I'm like, why? Why do I get the feeling I'm not going to need that? Ended up not wearing it, because as soon as I fitted this in, I'm like, okay, so it's not necessarily, material to crotch tight. It's not at that level. So it's loose enough to where it doesn't show every single dimension of my business going down there. But at the same time, it's snug enough to where it's like, okay, well, it doesn't look like a really cheap Walmart imitation Spider-Man suit. What's kind of funny though is that tightness that was up here kind of forgoes over here in the leg area. Somewhat comes back when it comes to the boot area around the legs. It actually tightens up a little bit more though. So if you're worried about having skinny legs like I do, then you might want to do some leg presses before you're planning on showing this costume out in public, because that's precisely what I did, and I still managed to get caught out on it by my girlfriend's sister. She just mentioned that I have skinny legs. Thanks for reminding me. Now on to the things that I generally don't like about the suit. Now, when it comes to the actual suit, it would have to be the hands. The hands do feel comfortable for the most part, and I love the patterning that's going on right here. But if I was to kind of punch in on my hands, when you first wear them, you are going to notice right from the get-go that the fingers are designed to be a little longer than they normally should be. And I get maybe why they did this is because some people still have long fingers, even though they might be on the shorter side, like my height or my weight or whatever, but they still manage to have really long-ish fingers, and they feel like if they can stitch together longer fingers in the costume, that's better than to have short fingers and then them having humongous loads of uncomfortability in the fingers because they're trying to fit their or the really long fingers into this glove, and because it's not detachable, that's going to hinder this entire portion of the suit. So they figured, okay, I guess the best option here would be to make longer fingers, and that's what they ended up doing. And every time I put on the suit, I have to go like this, kind of pull down on all of my fingers together to make sure that the tips of my fingers are at the tips of the actual suit fingers. And also, you can practically forget about texting, because texting in these things is damn near impossible. And I know there's some suits out there that have that specialty, custom-made, premium quality to them, where they actually have zippers in the gloves that you can then just kind of take off like that, text or do whatever it is that you want to do with your hands, eat, whatever, and then dangling off the wrist here is going to be the glove. You can just go like this, zip back up, and you're all ready to go. Unfortunately, this is not like this. It's completely sewed together, and because of how they design these fingers, you end up with a rather cumbersome load of fabric here at the tips that prevents you from not only making your fingers look more right than they should be, but also from texting or doing anything that's really important with your fingers. So if you're planning on doing that, just be, like I said, ready with that partner so that they can text for you, or if they have to be your eyes for the evening because you are too busy wearing the mask that comes included with this suit, which is probably my only other little thing that I'm not a huge fan of, but it's not technically part of the suit. It just comes with the suit, and that is the mask that Zentai and 7 Plus threw in with it. Besides the inaccuracy of the eyes, which I've mentioned before, and you kind of saw me wearing it, you notice that, yeah, even while wearing it, the eyes still look like the Andrew Garfield costume and not so much the Tobey Maguire costume, but I digress. Now, when it comes to actually feeling the mask on your head and actually wearing it, for the most part, it looks really good. At least it does on my head. I've seen some pictures where it doesn't look just right on some other folks' heads, so I think it's going to vary from person to person. You're just going to have to go through that trial and error yourself if you're planning on testing that out. Aside from that, even though on me it looks good, it doesn't particularly feel good. If I was to make this mask translucent, I would definitely look like those robbers that use stockings to cover up their face and they're all like this, like that with their ears. That's how I would look like. That's exactly how I would look like if this thing was translucent, and that's precisely how it will feel like. So talking, breathing, not necessarily the most comfortable experience. It's not the worst imaginable, but again, it's those moments where you're going to have to wear the masks just for show, and then once you've kind of got that out of the way, take it off. Besides, most of the movies these days, because they have a big name actor, they most of the time end up taking the mask off anyway. And another thing I noticed about the mask is that as time goes on, the eyes do start to light up just a tiny little bit. And again, you don't intentionally plan on wearing this mask for a long time. Now, I guess there's one other thing to mention when it comes to the mask working in tandem with the suit that personally I didn't come across too badly, but I've seen some other folks point it out on Amazon with their reviews, and I can kind of see that a little bit, is that since it is a detached piece, you have to make do with how well you attach it to the neckline. As you can see, the neck portion of the costume rides up fairly high, so it does a good job at trying to kind of cover up the entire body when you're using both the suit and the mask together. And as you saw from the beginning of the video, sorry if I tapped that, you noticed that the mask looked very much connected to the rest of the suit when I'm in a very neutral position. If I'm just like facing forward and I'm looking like this, then the whole thing with the zipper down on the mask and the zipper up on my suit, it's completely connected. The only time where I do see a little bit of disconnect and some skin starts to show is here on the back when I'm angled down like this. If I'm angled down like this, then it starts to break apart a little bit right here. Might show some close-ups here, but it kind of disconnects just a tiny little bit right here between the mask and the neck part of the suit. But that's only if I'm doing this really prolonged way and in a really exaggerated way, where if I'm looking all the way down like this, then that's when you're gonna start a little bit of separation with the mask and the suit. And I have heard some folks say that because of sizing issues, that issue was actually even more predominant in their circumstance, and they mentioned that in a couple of reviews. So again, it's a little something to kind of take note of when you're planning on ordering the suit, which is why when it comes to the suit and how it fits and how it looks with the fitting, from the top portion of the suit looking really tight on me versus the bottom portion being a little looser but still not too bad, along with the things I had to say about the mask, I'll say that if you have the money, the best and most safest way to go would be to actually buy two suits. One that's the size of the clothes you normally wear, so if you feel like you're a small, buy the small. and on the side buy a medium just in case you need something a little bit longer so that you don't have to worry about any of those gap issues between the mask and the suit, and also any portion of the body that you think might be just a little too tight. You can kind of loosen it up a little bit and you have nothing to worry about. Now, David, how could you possibly recommend buying 2 of these suits? Who has that kind of money? Well, that comes into my verdict here for the suit, is that this thing cost me a whopping $50. $50 for this. I'm telling you right now that for $50, you can normally buy a very generic, by the numbers and conventional Spider-Man suit at Walmart or Target. Or, I'm so sorry, baby, Party City. You can spend $50 on a suit that looks like a Halloween suit. Or you can take those $50 and maybe some shipping, maybe some tax. Sometimes it even qualifies for Prime shipping. So if you have Prime, you don't have to worry about the shipping costs. You can get yourself a suit that feels comfortable and at the same time looks like the real deal from the surface, or not only from the surface, from the distance, because of the work that they were able to put into the patterning. And it's made in a material that's just a bit more reliable than the average Halloween costume. And on top of that, you know, I got some compliments that night at the party saying that I looked like a very decent Spider-Man. Actually, more than decent, a very good-looking Spider-Man, if I do say so myself, minus the beard. So, you can vote with what you want to do with your wallet, but I highly, highly recommend, even with the little quirks that I mentioned about the mask not being 100% accurate to the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, or the few difficulties I came across with both the mask and the suit that I might have mentioned, they really do pale in comparison to just how much I love the suit, to the point where I would love to continue wearing this, even outside of Halloween, maybe even a convention. I will definitely pull this thing back out to wear it again, because I genuinely feel like Spider-Man wearing it. So, I don't normally rate suits because I normally don't review suits, but if I had to give it a rating, I would dare say that this is actually a very recommendable suit to check out this Halloween season. And even outside of Halloween, if you're planning on going on any conventions and would love to cosplay as Spider-Man, this is still a worthwhile purchase. I give the Zentai /7 Plus unisexual Lycra Spider-Man suit a very, very high 8 out of 10, only because it's like a 9 out of 10 when I'm not wearing the mask. It's a very high 8 out of 10 with the mask. That kind of completes the whole ensemble, which is the whole point of being Spider-Man, because sometimes we wear the masks to protect the people we love. The more you know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and share this video to show your support. I'm wearing tights. It's the best thing and the smallest thing that you can possibly do. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe for more reviews coming very soon. If you do subscribe, of course, do not forget to hit the little bell notification so that the next time you open up your phone, you are graced with this. Until next time, guys. See you later. The Peter Parker that we know and love was still there. There was never a point where I hated him. I actually enjoyed watching him on screen. Multiple times, he actually did manage to make me laugh with a couple of the quips. Like I said, I felt like he was quipping a little too much, where his hit and miss ratio was a little higher than past Spider-Men that I have watched, both in live action and cartoon.
Ah! Nice move, Webhead. Now you know what a wrecking ball feels like. If I wanted to ride the tilt-a-whirl, I'd have gone to Coney Island.